Good day everyone, I'm Christian Joe Bayona and I'm comparing AMD Ryzen 7 5800X versus Intel Core i7-11700K. The Intel Core i7-11700K versus AMD Ryzen 7 500X rivalry is a heated battle for supremacy at the $400 price point. These two chips jockey for positioning on our CPU benchmark hierarchy to score a spot on the list of best CPU gaming, but they both come with their own eccentricities. Intel Core i7 Intel's new chip strides into the ring with 8 cores and 16 threads, the Cypress Cove architecture that grants 19% increase in IPC, a friendlier $399 price tag, and the broad ability. However, Intel's Rocket Lake family remains on the 14nm process, which means that the 11700K consumes far more power than the 5800X, requiring a more expensive cooler and robust motherboard power security to extract the best the silicon has to offer. The 8-core 16-thread Ryzen 7 5800X comes with a 3.8 GHz base and 4.7 GHz boost clock paired with beefy 32 MB of L3 cache AMD specs with the chip with a 105 WTDP, but bear in mind that it isn't comparable to the 111,700K's TDP rating because both chip markers uses different measurement criteria. Intel Core i7-11700K also arrived with 8 cores and 16 threads, but Intel etches those cores on the 14nm process. That means these chips undoubtedly consumes far more power than its peak 125W rating, especially if you allow the motherboard to ignore the power limits, which do by default. We'll have power testing below the source out the most efficient chip, but it's a given that AMD's Zen 3 powered 7nm chip hold the advantage over Intel's competing chips. Neither chip comes with a cooler and both support PCIe 4.0, though it is not worthy that Intel's chipset doesn't support the speedier interface. Instead, devices connected to the Intel's chipset operates at PCIe 3.0 speeds. Unfortunately, that means you only have to support for one PCIe 4.0 M2 SSD port on your motherboard. In contrast, AMD's chipset is fully PCIe 4.0 enabled, providing you with more connectivity options for faster devices. Both chips support two channels of DDR4 3200 memory, but Intel's new Gear memory features thus involve a few trade-offs. The Core i7 11700K supports the DDR4 2933 in Gear 1 mode at stock setting, which provides the best latency and performance for most tasks like gaming. On the other hand, you'll have to operate the chip in Gear 2 mode for warranted DDR4 3200 support that result in performance penalties in some latency-sensitive apps like gaming. For some users, the 11700K does have an enormous noticeable advantage over the Ryzen 7 5800X. The 11700K comes with the UHD Graphics 70 engine that comes armed with 32 EUS based on Xe graphics engine, while all the Ryzen 500 processors come without integrated graphics. That means Intel wins by default if you don't plan using a discrete GPU. The AMD Ryzen 7 5800X versus Intel Core i7-1170 battle is close if boiled down to the spec sheet alone, so the category lands as a tie. Both chips come with the same number of cores and threads and ship without a cooler AMD support for DDR4 3200 memory without the need for a separate gear mode is a plus. But the Core i7-11700K also has the advantage of integrated graphics, so it wins by default if you don't plan to use a discrete GPU. This table shows the Cinebench R20s that show the thread. The AMD Ryzen 7 5800X is have a higher single thread than the iCore i7 11700K. The Ryzen has 627 while the iCore i7 is 577. Thank you.